Vegeta finally managed to evolve his Ultra Ego, something he has had access to for some time and has been working on. Just as Goku evolved his Ultra Instinct, Vegeta is not far behind. In the same way as Blue Evolution, he manages to evolve his Ultra Ego. Question: I will prove it to you, and your brain will even fry with so much information. Ready? Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and activate the bell. The student will face the master using what he himself taught. The result of this battle is unexpected, and only one will remain standing on the battlefield. The parallel of the gods, what it is and what it may become. This enters the world of Dragon Ball in a way we do not even have a notion of yet, but it is gradually being implanted. This whole concept of succession of a Hakaishin and how it would be, what it really needs for that. And here comes the following question. Why does Beerus already consider Vegeta as a candidate, while for Goku to be called and officially accepted by him, he needed to accept his Saiyan side, his own pride? Man, this was a brilliant insight. He could have just done something natural and called Goku even earlier, but it had to be him, and him accepting himself. And for a long time, we have seen Vegeta with that in himself, his natural pride. Of course, there are many things we need to consider. One of them is this. If Beerus knows both are rivals and candidates to become gods of destruction, and he doesn't care, letting both train with Whis and also trained Vegeta in the same way Topp was trained, to master and familiarize himself with destructive energy itself, including Vegeta going through a training where Beerus incites him and says to his face that he's sent to destroy the Saiyan planet, already putting in Vegeta's head the acceptance phase, that thing about breaking, or not, breaking the spirit. And Vegeta surpassed himself, learning Ultra Ego, something not even Topp, who had more time exposed to Hakai energy, managed to access. The same goes for Goku with Ultra Instinct, becoming some kind of transformation, changing his physical and mental state. Vegeta has always been driven by something beyond a simple desire for power. It's a silent but burning pride, a fierce will to surpass limits that many didn't even know existed. And when he awakened Ultra Ego, a form that connects directly to the destructive philosophy of the gods of destruction, it was more than a simple step in his evolution. It was a definitive break with the past. The most surprising thing is that this technique was not born from training as long as Topp's, who had much more exposure to Hakai energy, but from a pure and raw acceptance of his true self, his warrior essence. This alone raises deep questions about Saiyan genetics and what is mysterious and even mystical in their blood. While Topp followed the expected paths, obeying doctrines and traditions of the Hakaishins, Vegeta took a brutal, visceral route. He didn't ask for permission, didn't seek acceptance. He dived straight into destruction and pain, and emerged as a new being, shaped by his losses, promises, and pride. This shocked Beerus. The god of destruction always saw potential in Vegeta, but never expected him to go this far, without a purely divine transformation imposed or taught step by step. It was instinctive, a direct response to everything he experienced from Planet Vegeta to the latest battlefields. And that makes him special. Not special as someone who inherits something, but as someone who conquers the impossible. This awakens an unspoken doubt in Beerus. How far can a mortal like him go? Saiyan blood has proven to be much more than just strong and combative DNA. There is something ancestral there, something that pulses with adaptation, overcoming, and thirst for war. The Scion's fighting instinct goes beyond the biological and enters the spiritual plane. They don't just want to win, they want to understand combat, lose themselves in it, transform with it. That was how it was with Goku when he touched Ultra Instinct, an almost divine state of full intuition. And now it is the same with Vegeta and his Ultra Ego, a form where the pleasure is in destruction, but not out of malice, rather as the ultimate expression of his being. Vegeta is not simply copying Beerus. He is creating his own interpretation of the god's power based on pain, pride, and sacrifice. And if he manages to completely master this power, there is a real possibility that even Beerus could be defeated. It wouldn't be a battle driven by anger or revenge, but one where a mortal surpasses his master, not with arrogance, but with fullness. Vegeta doesn't want to replace Beerus, but if he reaches full mastery of Ultra Ego, he will not just be a strong warrior. He will be a threat to the destruction throne of the god himself. Because where the gods stop, with their rules and fears, the Scions continue, driven by an impulse that seems endless. Perhaps that is the true difference in their blood. It's not brute strength, but the stubbornness to never accept that the limit has been reached. Vegeta will indeed evolve Ultra Ego, just as Goku is evolving his Ultra Instinct. What many don't realize is that these forms are not fixed, immutable states. They are living expressions of the soul, directly linked to the mental and emotional state of the one accessing them. Goku, upon realizing Ultra Instinct, needs to align with his Saiyan nature and not with the coldness of angels, began to mold the instinct to be wilder, more emotional, more his own. Likewise, Vegeta can adapt Ultra Ego, making it sharper, more destructive, but also more personal, reflecting his own beliefs, his pain, his silent love for his family, and his pride that never breaks. Ultra Ego has an unstable base by nature. It grows with suffering, with damage received, with surrender to destruction. But there is much more to extract from this than just resilience or brutality. Vegeta already understands that it's not enough to just give in to chaos. To truly master this state, he needs to control it from within, make destruction a tool and not an end. And that is already a sign of possible evolution. Just as Ultra Instinct is moving towards something more emotional and connected to Goku's identity, Ultra Ego may take an even more intense path, perhaps more balanced between savagery and reason, between destruction and purpose, a state that not only destroys the enemy, but surpasses it in essence. If this new stage arises, it would not just be an amplification of the power already seen. It would be an emotional and spiritual transformation, a form where Vegeta maintains the connection to the destructive instinct of the Hakations, but refines it with his warrior intellect and his past of losses, as if every scar engraved in his soul fed this power. We could call this Ultra Ego evolution, or something even more symbolic, like Saiyan Ultra Ego perhaps, because he would stop being a mere executor of destruction to become its very representation in its most conscious and selective form. He wouldn't destroy for pleasure or duty, but for judgment, and this judgment would come from someone who knows suffering well. It is important to remember that both Goku and Vegeta are not just fighting with their bodies. They are now in internal battles, where mastery of the divine forms depends on the truth they carry in their hearts. Therefore, it is very likely that if Goku reaches a new level with Ultra Instinct, Vegeta will also respond with his own ascension. Because they don't just compete against each other, they push each other forward, in an eternal dance between instinct and ego, between serenity and fury. And the universe watches, perhaps fearing, perhaps waiting, what will come out of this next level that is yet to come. Beerus, witnessing this, is left speechless. He knows what he is seeing. A mortal who not only understood destruction as a concept, but as destiny, and placed himself above it. This new Vegeta could, if he wanted, challenge the authority of any Hakation, not out of ambition, but because his body already carries the very language of destruction. And perhaps for that reason, Beerus understands that his position as God of Destruction is no longer unquestionable, not because he lost strength, but because a deadly warrior, shaped by internal and external wars, managed to reach what he himself has always feared: absolute control over chaos. This new form is not unlimited either. It demands a price. Ultra Ego evolution requires emotional discipline, something Vegeta has always struggled to maintain. Destruction, when left unchecked, consumes. And so, this new form demands that he keep his mind centered, that he not get lost in pride or thirst for victory. He cannot just fight like a warrior. He must act like a judge, someone who decides what deserves to continue existing and what needs to be erased. It is a responsibility only someone like Vegeta can bear, because he knows failure, regret, and the weight of senseless destruction. Now, he carries destruction with purpose. Vegeta could indeed defeat Beerus, but this depends on one essential factor. He needs to fully master Ultra Ego, not just as a brute strength transformation, but as a conscious extension of his being. Today, even with Ultra Ego, Vegeta is still learning. He understands the power of destruction, already manipulates it, but does not yet master it. Beerus, on the other hand, has lived millennia perfecting this concept to the point of making it instinctive. He doesn't need to transform or feel pain to amplify his power. He is destruction. But what makes this overcoming possible is not the difference in time or training. It is the nature of the Science. Vegeta does not follow a traditional divine path. He recreates, rebuilds, adapts. He does not copy Beerus. He transforms the idea of destruction into something emotional, personal, and therefore more dangerous. If he reaches Ultra Ego evolution, a higher stage where he controls destruction with absolute precision, mastering both the physical and emotional fields of battle, then yes, he can not only equal Beerus but surpass him. And this would be possible not through brute force, but through spiritual evolution and full understanding of his own limits. Beerus, as powerful as he is used to being on top, a mortal who destroys with purpose, pain, and reason. Someone who knows what it is to lose, fail, and rise again, represents something a god may not be able to replicate. At that point, Beerus could lose, not because he got weaker, but because Vegeta became something the gods did not foresee, a destroyer with a soul, but also with counterpoints. First, Beerus's Hakai form has never been fully shown in its entirety in the manga or anime, but from visual and contextual clues, it is understood that he carries the purest mastery of destruction energy. We don't know if he changes form similarly to Vegeta. Still, Beerus doesn't need to physically change form like a Saiyan. His base state is already constant and lethal. His destructive aura is invisible when he is in total control, and he can erase anything from existence with a snap of his fingers or a light touch. When he shows seriousness, the pressure of his presence warps the space around him. On rare occasions, his aura manifests as purple flames of pure destruction, pulsing with Hakai energy, but always with extreme stability as if chaos obeys him. We also have the variable of Top. Top, on the other hand, assumes a true Hakatian form, visually much more direct. When he activates God of Destruction mode during the Tournament of Power, Top gains an intense and constant purple flaming aura. His eyes vanish into pure light, his muscles expand, and he literally appears engulfed in a storm of Hakai energy. It is a clear transformation, with weight and brute presence. His body is strengthened, his morale changes. He abandons justice for destruction. But at the same time, he follows dogmas. He destroys because he believes it is the duty of a god of destruction. His power is devastating, but still based on external convictions and formal training. Vegeta, in his Ultra Ego form, is something completely different. He does not follow any divine doctrine. He does not change by order or ideology. His form is not stable like Beerus's, nor ritualistic like Top's. It is alive, unstable, violent, but deeply personal. Vegeta grows as he takes hits. His aura vibrates intensely as he gives himself to combat. His transformation is not a god mode with rules. It is the direct reflection of his mind and pride. He does not use destruction out of obligation. He embraces it as part of his identity, and that is what makes him unpredictable. While Top destroys methodically and Beerus with authority, Vegeta destroys with soul. In the end, Beerus is the perfect and refined incarnation of Hakai power. Top is the faithful follower of this doctrine, and Vegeta is the wild one who breaks everything and rebuilds this power in his own way. And precisely for this reason, his potential for evolution is terrifying, because where others limit themselves by control or tradition, Vegeta goes beyond with instinct, pain, and pride. The question here is when and how the battle between these two titans will really happen. Will Vegeta have Ultra Ego evolution or something beyond that? How would such a rare battle look? Matching the casual who now wields the power of a god, even if still ascending, and the god who already masters a masterful power still unknown to our eyes and to Vegetas. This is just insane to imagine. Comment now, in a battle between these two, who would come out victorious?